Pleasant good day to all of my YouTube fans across the world. First and foremost, we need to assure you we have not done a video perhaps in the last 3 weeks, but rest assured we are alive and we will continue to produce our videos as you have grown accustomed to. So have no fear, remember we will always be there to bring our videos to you. We also, to those of you who celebrate Christmas, we extend compliments of the season and wishing you all the best for 2025. And as usual, we greet you in our customary way. I, Imo Rameses Bakari, your psychologist and life coach from the magical community of Point 410 in Trinidad and Tobago, located in the Southern Caribbean. It is my desire to inspire you to rise higher. It is my desire to inspire you to rise even higher. It is my desire to continue to partner with you to ensure that your goals are achieved as we move forward in life. It is my desire to continue to produce to you and for you inspiring YouTube videos. So remember, this work will be done through teaching, through counseling, through motivational speaking, through public speaking, through research, through community development, and in any other feasible way that will allow the message to be communicated. Because after all, you, yes you, are deserving to become the best version of yourselves, and we are prepared to partner with you to ensure that your dreams become a reality. So as usual, we also bring you a motivational word. And the motivational word for today is that if fairness could have really been practiced in an ideal way, certainly the world would have been a better world. Truth be told, fairness does not rule the world, and because of that, because of many other factors, but just citing that as one example, because of the lack of fairness in the world, there's a lot of pain. So the motivational word to you, in every small act that you engage in, ensure that fairness exists. And if we add up all of these small acts, well then certainly we'll be contributing to a fairer world. There is so much evil that exists that making an investment in fairness is indeed a good investment. So ponder on the word, reflect on the word, and let fairness be a guide in your daily lives. So having shared the motivational word with you, we also take the opportunity to remind you of our services. Remind you of our 10-week psychology course, the fundamentals of psychology, costing $800. Our 4-week public speaking course entitled the fundamentals of public speaking, costing $1,200 for students and $1,800 for the general public. We also remind you of our 4-week course, Mastering Emotional Intelligence, costing $1,800 for students and $2,500 for the general public. We also remind you that you can call or email us and book a counseling appointment, a coaching appointment. You just have to give us a call at 1-868-778-5141 or 1-868-779-2544, or email us at leadershipwithadifference@gmail.com. You can also support our work by contributing via the account flashing across the screen. You can also contribute through our YPay and Patreon links. You can buy my book, Conversation, priced at 100 TT, 15 US, or 45 EC dollars, or you can also buy a book entitled Understanding and Remembering C.L.R. James, $140, Tribute to African Civilization, costing $100, and a recently published book on George Weeks, Rebels at the Gate, for $150 TT. So, remind you again, give us a call at 1-868-778-5141, 1-868-779-2544, or email us at leadershipwithadifference@gmail.com. So the topic we're going to discuss today is an important topic as all of the other topics, but the importance of this one, I will say, is continues to draw the attention of the world, either expressly or otherwise. And the topic is, can Africa become a superpower? Or if you phrase it differently, will Africa be allowed to become a superpower? So I'm going to do it in some discussion and a kind of question and posing and presenting answers. So, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Will it be easy? Certainly not. It is going to be a very challenging task. Will, people with vested interests, consider that? Certainly no. Will a lot of blood be shed in the process? Highly possible. Where vested interest is concerned, where powerful nations are benefiting as they do, they will not unwrap their hands from around it as easily as many may wish. Can Africa become a unified entity by 2063, according to a pronouncement made by the African Union some years ago? It is left to be seen. But when we consider the theory behind it, it makes a lot of sense. The practice of it, the realization of it, might be dichotomous in some ways, but it's a topic certainly worth exploring. So let us look at some fundamentals. Many commentators have spoken about certain steps that can be taken to move Africa to the point of being a unified format. Remember, one constant I want to make as I do this presentation, that by no stretch of imagination will be easy, or by no stretch of imagination will be allowed to become a reality as if you are sucking a candy. Alright? So, what are some simple things that can be done that have been advocated by many commentators? We talk about having a borderless Africa, eradicating borders. As many of us know, after that Berlin conference in 1884, the European powers divided up Africa in different parts and created a lot of artificial borders. As we all know, the border between one country and the other sometimes is just to go onto another street, So it's one mass, but you have divisions on many fronts. You have ethnic divisions, tribal divisions, you have political divisions, you have economic divisions, So we're dealing with a process to become one that certainly will have many bumps along the way. Nonetheless, what are some of the things that can be done? One, as I mentioned before, eradicating borders, moving towards a single currency, disbanding visa requirements. Many people on the African continent have repeatedly said it is far more difficult to travel within Africa than outside of Africa because of visa requirements and other restrictions. So these are things certainly are not insurmountable to be done. One or two countries have taken such steps, but it is far from ideal in terms of it becoming common. Right? So just to reiterate, eradicating borders, moving towards a single currency, disbanding visa requirements, moving towards one constitution and one president. Now that in itself, many people may say, never will it be, because many people have become entrenched in their little enclaves, and power sometimes, when tasted, many people are not prepared to release themselves from the taste of power. So it will take a lot of maturity, it will take a lot of organization, it will take a lot of effort, and certainly it will take a lot of time for it to become possible, because power is not something that people relinquish easily. But as I said, the theory of it, certainly it needs to be spoken about. The practice and application, we know it is far, many miles apart. Nonetheless, very importantly, Africa must get control of having full ownership of the extraction of the minerals and the manufacturing of the minerals. They must also be able to trade on terms that are favorable to them. So recent developments in Mali and Nigeria, they have revoked a lot of the arrangements and make it favorable to themselves. But fundamentally, it's not just making it favorable to trade, but you have to be able to be in control of the extraction, the manufacturing, and developing the appropriate technology. You know, so if you're talking about superpower status, if you don't have control of your resources, particularly your vast mineral resources, well, you know, you're really straddling in no man's land. It was one of our deceased Calypsonian, the late great Brigo said, you actually will be walking in the dark, you know. Will Africa be able to develop nuclear capabilities? If that is facilitated, combined with control of your natural resources in terms of the extraction, manufacturing, and the technology, and getting the full downstream value of what can be produced, all right? If Africa can move away from accepting aid as a means of addressing their developmental problem, the question is not aid to address those problems, but the question is taking control of the developmental paradigm to ensure that your resources can be developed on your terms in the interest of your people. All right? So, if the aforementioned can become possible, can be facilitated, we can say theoretically, Africa is on the way to becoming a superpower. But we know the reality is far removed from such. And the fact that the Western world is so much dependent on the resources of Africa, as we have seen in the developments in France and Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and their ability to maintain their wealth by having a heavy control of resources, heavy control of finances in terms of the transfer of foreign currencies of these countries into their own treasuries. We know that, you know, the fight going to be long and bitter. So, having presented what I presented, I am saying that every effort will be made by those with vested interests to thwart, to block the possibility of Africa becoming a superpower. Because if that trajectory and that pathway is allowed to take place uninhibited, well then there will be no turning back, there will be no stopping. But the fight will be long and bloody. It is possible in theory, it can become possible, but let us don't fool ourselves. It's a Herculean task that is worthy effort. The question is, are the leaders mature enough and committed enough to make it happen? Because we have seen and we have known and we have read and understand that many leaders sometimes work in conjunction with people who are opposed to the authentic development of the African continent to block the progress of their very natives. So think about what I've said, explore it, look at it practically, look at it objectively, and I'll be happy to receive your feedback in the comments as to your take on whether Africa will be allowed to become a superpower. There is the raw ingredients, but so much more than the raw ingredients is required. But I'll be happy to hear from you and your comments. So thank you for listening, thank you for viewing. And as usual, we remind you to support our services, to call or email us and book a counseling, coaching appointment, buy our book, Conversation, buy any of the other advertised books. Also, you can partake in our ongoing courses, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, our 10-week course in psychology for 3,800, the public speaking course for 1,200 for students, $1,800 for the general public. The emotional intelligence course, $1,800 for students, $2,500 for the general public. So all you got to do is give us a call at 1-868-778-5141, 1-868-779-2544, or email us at leadershipwithadifference@gmail.com. So I pose the question to you again. Will Africa be allowed to become a superpower? I look forward to your comments. I look forward to your support so that we can continue bringing these kinds of messages to you. You can contribute via the account Fashion and Screen, via the YP and Patreon links, or partake in any of the other courses just advertised. So stay tuned for another powerful presentation next week. Please God. Bye.